Hey, Coach A, I met this guy in math class. He wants to join our flag football team.
Cool. Bring him on out. See what he's about.
Yo, what's good, Coach? My name is Devontae, and I played football all throughout high school, and I played Little League. Going like that.
Okay. So you're an athlete.
Yeah. When I was in high school, my senior year, I scored 10 rushing touchdowns and 15 receiving touchdowns. So what's good? What can I do for you?
I guess we have to find out. What positions you play?
I was running back and receiver. I played a lot of offense, but I can strap people down too.
Oh, so you play a little bit of defense?
Yeah.
All right. If you want to come try out for defense, go ahead and step out on the field and let me put some receivers on you, see what you got.
Okay, bet. Let's get into it.
Hey, QB, you and the receiver come up with the route. Let's throw on this guy and see what he's got.
Bet.
Ready. Hike.
Expose him! Expose him! It was at this moment he knew. He fucked up.
All right, come on over, man. Let's see. Let's talk about this.
Yo. Like, I know he scored, but that don't happen all the time. He got lucky.
Well, I think, you know what? To the rush line for you.
Well, drop that intro.
Hey.
Yo. Welcome to episode 38 of the Catch Up Podcast, number one podcast where you feed your curiosity with me, Brian Sumo Sumardi. And as you can tell by that intro, that little skit, today's guest is Anthony Nguyen, flag football coach, sports athlete, advocate, and
high school football coach, little league football coach.
Boom.
All types of coach.
Let them know. Teach them devils.
Brian and I, we first met. Am I talking to you or am I talking to the mic, the audience?
It's your first time, Anthony's first time. Say what you want, man. Explain your story. Explain yourself.
Yeah, so I think we first met. We first met when you came out to a flag football practice, and this was for the Filipino Cultural Association at Montgomery College.
Yeah,
and I think you came out for a practice or two, and you wanted to play, and you definitely had experience from high school ball,
right?
And you came out for a couple practices, and you definitely you had some athleticism. You definitely had some potential to play on the team, but I guess you could commit to it. So that was that, and that was the beginning of the years. Those were the early years of me coaching flag football for fun for these clubs and organizations.
Dope. Yeah. So, the real reason why I wanted to bring you on is because I kind of really got to know you at TEDx Bethesda. You were volunteering for the event with me, and you were telling me that you have a interesting story to tell and about your upbringings and how you want to change like the current society of cultural identity. And can we get into that? Like, let me know about your background and how you came up to doing all the things that you do now.
Yeah, when we volunteered at the TEDx events, that was just I like to volunteer and contribute to a lot of different events within the community, whether it's a student organization or a TEDx event, which was something new to me. I've never been to a TEDx talk, so that was first time doing that, and that was a great event, by the way. Just very inspiring to be around and see a lot of different speakers speak, about their craft and things that they're interested and passionate about. Because I think someday for myself, I would like to be a public speaker as well. I mean, I kind of already do that in a very small way.
Another accomplishment.
I speak. I go to conferences for student organizations within the region, and I host workshops where I've spoken at workshops to share some of my experiences. Growing up, playing football, being a sports advocate, some of my experiences in education. That's another thing that I've been passionate about as well. But yeah, so I'm just trying to share my message, my story, my experiences in hopes of inspiring others and getting them to find things that they're passionate about.
So what message is that?
I think, if you find your passion, whatever that may be, once people find their passion, when you love what you do, that's probably the most fulfilling feeling. And to be able to contribute that to individuals or the community around you, I think that's the best way to live. Like that's one of the greatest ways to live.
So without being like super idealistic, what is your passion?
So two of my passions are coaching, like I said, football, and education.
Okay. How did you get into that? Like, did you grow up here? Like, what about your education growing up?
So yeah, I went to public school in Montgomery County my whole life. From elementary, middle to high school. Where I got my first experience getting into football was in 8th grade, actually joining a flag football team for a recreational league in the area. And then I went on to play tackle for Little League. And then I decided to play varsity football at my high school, which is Northwest High School. Shout out, go Jags.
Okay.
What high school did you go to?
I went to Einstein.
Oh, okay. You went to Einstein. Actually, we played Einstein in one of our games. And actually, interestingly enough, I think my first catch in high school was against Einstein.
Nice accomplishment.
Yeah, one of my first. Yeah, it was actually my first catch, and it was on Einstein's football field. And I don't even know if you played at the time or not, but
probably not.
Yeah, that was one of my.
Because you're older than me too.
Yeah,
we played different years. I'm pretty sure.
Right. Yeah, so when I played high school, I started my junior year, and then I played for 2 years, and we ended up winning the state championship, which is probably one of the most.
What year was that?
It was in 05.
05. Okay.
Yeah.
Dope. I got into high school at 07. But you were telling me off air too, like another thing that really like made you really interested in like advocating people into sports, kind of similar to my story, which is that when I was growing up at the high school, I'm really big into sports, athletics, and whatnot, but I just never had the frame or stature to excel very well. I knew that. I think I would describe it as I had pretty good self-awareness at a young age. So instead of me pursuing, like, driving myself to go harder, go bigger, go stronger, I took a different avenue of approach, and that was to coach. Like, I went to training the football athletes who had potential to make it to the collegiates and maybe even the pros, and I helped them get stronger. Basically.
That's cool, man. Yeah, like for me, I wanted to come back to my high school after I graduated to coach, to give back to the kids what I experienced in high school myself. But I ended up coaching at another high school when I got my opportunity in I think 2013, and this was after I coached the flag football teams at these student organizations at Montgomery College and then at University of Maryland. So I also coach a women's team. So aside from the team that you came out to try out for at Montgomery College, which was the Filipino Cultural Association.
That was co-ed. I didn't try to sign for the women's team.
Yeah, and then I coached the women's team at University of Maryland, which was for the Vietnamese Student Association. Okay. So I coached two teams simultaneously, a men's and a women's team.
Yeah,
for several years.
I don't know if you ever noticed this, but I'm pretty sure you do, that you have a very big Asian following, and like at least in the DMV, that we are very big Asian culture, or at least Filipino Vietnamese, and that's what generally majority, I want to say, of the MC football team, Maryland football team, my football team at least.
What is your ethnicity?
I'm Indonesian.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I'm Vietnamese, and I coach the Filipino team for the Filipino club and organization, but all these organizations are inclusive, and they include everybody. You don't have to be specifically Filipino or Vietnamese to play on these teams.
But it just so happens to be that everyone there is that. And I was doing some research online. Apparently, most of the government in the Philippines, if you are in the Filipino government, you happen to play basketball against each other. That's as a general.
What is it, a league or what?
I don't think it's a league, but then they just keep playing against each other, and they broadcast it.
I know. I mean, the Filipinos are big in basketball, dance, and either nursing or being. But
I've never heard of that being in politics. Like, I'm the national security of treasury and and I'm about to shoot this three in front of your face.
And the funny thing is about this whole me coaching and being a part of these Asian orgs now. Or previously, is that I didn't really have Asian friends in high school.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't really roll with Asians. I mean, I was cool with them. You know, they had the cliques or the groups. You know, you would see them at the lunch tables. You know, almost like at any other high school you would see in the county. But you know, I never just got close to them like that. You know, I was cool with some of them, and I knew them here and there. But my circle was, you know, just very diverse and mostly non-Asian, which is interesting and ironic, I think.
So who did you really associate yourself with back in high school?
Well, like I said, when I joined the high school football team, you know, it was very diverse. You know, I had white, black, Spanish, you know, Middle Eastern friends. Well, they're Asian too, but Western Asian. But you know, in terms of Eastern Asian, no, I didn't have too many friends that were Korean, Vietnamese, or Filipino, or Chinese, or you know, things like that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, I mean, we had that population at our school, but you know, I rode with the football team, and because the other part is I was the only Asian football player on my football team, on the varsity football team.
Okay.
So that definitely, you know, made me stand out, you know, on the team.
Did you ever have trouble like self-identifying yourself? Because I'll tell you a quick story about me. Like when I was younger, I always surrounded myself with a lot of other Indonesians because that's how my parents kind of raised me. But
because they like brought you out to like events and stuff like that.
Yeah, like my dad works at the embassy as a driver back in the day, and then my mom is just like a caretaker for old people. But for me growing up, I was isolated a lot, so I would be driven to school, go to school, get driven back home, and then on Sundays I was raised Muslim, so they would take me to Sunday school. So that would be legit it.
Oh, so you were in it, like
Yeah,
you were
well-
always around people that were similar to you.
Yeah, but not really. Because Monday through Saturday, I would be with my family at home, and my parents like gave me enough like video games and stimulation at home. Well, they weren't really around, so I didn't know where to go. I didn't have curiosity yet. Like I didn't really get big into the internet. Like I honestly got Facebook after high school, I think. Or
I think that's when it came out.
my freshman year, sorry. So I got it in high school.
Was MySpace still around at the time?
Yeah, MySpace was still around, but
Okay.
I never jumped into it.
Right.
But
I think that was more my group
Your
or my
year.
time. And yeah, MySpace is what I first started using. When you know, AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah.
And those things.
I remember that. I remember using that a lot. But let me get back to my identity story. Because all I did growing up was like watch TV. I legit thought I was white. Like,
Why?
dead
Why?
ass,
Like, did you watch white shows like Full House or something like that?
like I mean, what I remember watching on TV was just like The Simpsons, just like my cartoons. I forgot what it was called. Sesame Street. Like I would watch these like kid shows.
Yeah.
And like Disney Channel, and I legit thought like I was white, like because I didn't really see color at a young age because my parents never associated color with race and like prejudice type of shit.
So you're just open to everybody essentially.
Yeah,
growing
and
up.
my parents was always sharing stuff with me and my friends. So I would have like a lot of like birthday parties, and it was I just thought people were people. So I never had that cultural identity of like this is who I am and I'm different from everyone else until I think I got into 6th grade. And then that's when I went to middle school. So what happened from there, it turned into I started seeing prejudice because
What do you mean? Like people treated you differently, or they said things to you? Like, did you get bullied, or what do you mean by prejudice?
so what in my area from elementary school to middle school, there was always a bunch of kids that walked home together around my neighborhood. And that's when I asked my mom, like, hey, can I walk home with the other kids? Because I started being curious. And so I started walking home with them. And then as soon as I started walking home with this group of people, I didn't know that it was a lot of gangs in my area. And then that's when I kind of realized other people, like as in teachers and adults, started looking at me different.
Because they thought you associated with those groups.
Right.
Right.
And then the thing was, like, honestly, how it happened was like, we'd always meet up in front of an ice cream truck in front of my elementary school, and then everyone would get ice cream, Big Burst, Wrap Snacks. If you remember that? And I was like, I would just start walking. I'd follow these kids because they'd walk around my neighborhood.
So you never became friends with them, or you never joined one of their groups.